You know that tangy, mouth-puckering taste, right? The sour kick in your favorite soda, your go-to candy, even that little squeeze of lemon in your water. We taste it every single day. But what if I told you the real story behind that flavor is one of the biggest, most surprising secrets hiding in your kitchen?
Seriously, think about it for a second. That sour gummy you love, that can of soda you're drinking, where does that sharp, zesty flavor actually come from? I can pretty much guarantee the answer is not what you think it is. Not even close.
You're probably thinking lemons, right? Or limes. Some kind of citrus fruit. I mean, it makes sense. But for basically every mass-produced food on the shelf, you'd be wrong. The real source is way, way stranger. It's a common, microscopic, black mold. Yeah, you heard me right.
Okay, to understand this massive plot twist, we've got to meet the star of our show, a little chemical called citric acid. This is the molecule that makes it all happen. So what exactly is this stuff? Well, at its heart, citric acid is a totally natural, weak organic acid. You find it in citrus fruits, and if you purify it, it's just a simple white crystalline powder. And that powder is basically pure concentrated sourness. And when we say it's in citrus, we're not kidding. It is unbelievably concentrated in some of them. Get this, in lemons and limes, citric acid can make up to 8% of the fruit's entire dry weight. That's a huge amount. It's what gives them that signature, intense, eye-watering pucker. But here's where the story gets even crazier. Citric acid isn't just in fruit. It's fundamental to pretty much all life on this planet, and that includes you. It's a critical piece of the puzzle our cells use to turn food into energy. Right now, as you're watching this, your body is literally making and using citric acid to stay alive. So we know it's jam-packed inside lemons. The next question is pretty obvious. How in the world do you actually get it out? Let's take a little trip from the fruit basket to the chemistry lab. All right, little challenge for you. Imagine I just handed you a big basket of fresh lemons. How would you turn that into that pure, white, super sour powder? Well, chemists figured this out ages ago with a super clever process. Step 1, you juice the lemons. Easy enough. Then you add a chemical called calcium oxide. You know, lime. This makes the citric acid react and turn into a solid, which literally just crashes out of the juice. Then you can just filter that solid stuff right out. And for the final trick, you add some sulfuric acid, which reverses the whole thing, turning it back into pure dissolved citric acid. It's just brilliant chemistry. But, and this is a huge but, that lab method is great if you're making a small batch. That is not how the world gets its sour flavor. Now we get to the real source, the industrial scale plot twist. Look at this number, 1.4 million tons. That is how much citric acid we humans produce every single year. You would need a mountain range made of lemons to get that much. It's just not possible. So here it is, the big secret. Virtually none of the citric acid in the global supply chain actually comes from fruit. It comes from feeding sugar to a common black mold called Aspergillus niger. That little microorganism is the secret workhorse behind the entire world's supply of sour. And the process is called fermentation. What they do is they take a cheap sugar source, like cornstarch or molasses, and they stick it in these enormous vats with the mold. The mold then just eats the sugar, and as part of its natural process, it churns out incredible quantities of crude citric acid. It's like a tiny microscopic factory. So how do they go from this raw, mold-made acid to the pure white powder that ends up in our food? Let's check out the industrial scale process. Okay, so how do they purify it? Well, you're not going to believe this. They use the exact same chemical trick we saw back in the lemon lab. To get the pure acid out of the fermentation soup, they add lime to make it a solid, filter it out, and then add sulfuric acid to turn it back into its pure form. It's the same chemistry, just on a mind-bogglingly massive scale. And you better believe this is a huge global business. Demand grows by about 4% every year. Right now, China is the absolute powerhouse producer, making up to 40% of the entire world's supply. And you've got these giant international companies like Cargill and ADM running the show. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Acid from mold? Is that safe? And the answer is absolutely. The final product goes through these ridiculously precise purity tests. What you're looking at here is a graph from one of those tests. See that super steep jump in the line? That's the signal that confirms the purity is off the charts. We're talking over 99.9% pure. It is chemically identical to the stuff in a lemon, just, without the lemon.
Okay, so now we know the wild secret of where this stuff comes from. The next question is, where does all this industrially made acid actually go? Well, it turns out it's an everyday chemical hiding in plain sight.
The huge majority, a whopping 70%, goes directly into our food and drinks. It's the bite in your soda, the kick in your sour candy. But it doesn't stop there. It's also in medicines, all sorts of cleaning products, and a ton of other industrial things.
And it has some pretty incredible uses beyond just making things taste good. It can actually help prevent kidney stones, it helps your body absorb minerals better, it's used in skincare products. Oh, and it's an amazing eco-friendly cleaner that can make stainless steel absolutely sparkle.
This quote from a science journal really just says it all. By sheer weight, by pure volume, citric acid is the single most important organic acid that we produce using fermentation. It's this quiet, hidden giant of our modern world. So, the next time you taste that sour tang, you'll know the secret isn't some sunny lemon grove, but a microscopic, hyper-efficient, single-celled factory. You now know the surprising secret of sour, which just makes you wonder, what other secrets are hiding in your kitchen?